everyone, here's my division problem for the day. 3 students share 13 sticks of gum. How many sticks do they receive if they get equal shares? So equal shares means that everyone gets the same amount, no matter how many there are total of that thing. So I need to make sure that 3 students get gum. We have 13 sticks of gum, and I need to make sure everyone gets equal amounts. So I need to split 13 sticks of gum equally to 3 students. So the first thing I need to do to solve this problem is to write down my number model. My number model is here in green. 13 sticks of gum divided by 3 students equals B. I put B here because that's my unknown quantity. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how many sticks of gum that each student is going to get yet. So I put B here. I need to find my quotient still. Now, I could use my partial quotient strategy to solve this division problem, but if I know from previous lessons and if I know from previous work that I've done, is that I know that when I think about division, I also have to kind of simultaneously at the same time think about multiplication as well. And if I know my multiplication facts well, I know that this is just the opposite of a multiplication problem. This number model is the opposite of a very easy multiplication problem. So for example, I'm going to avert your eyes up here. For example, if I know my 3's very well, my 3 multiplication facts very well, I know that 3 times something equals 12. Automatically now, I know that 3 equals something equals 12. What's that? Well, it's 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. So if I jump back down here, 13 divided by 3, well, I know that 12 divided by 3 is what? 4. Because 3 times 4 equals 12. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Okay, so then I know that my number model up here, for the number story, 13 divided by 3, is going to equal 4, but it's going to have how many remaining, right? What's our remainder in the situation? Our remainder is how many there's going to be left. So we know that there's going to be, each student is going to get 4 sticks of gum, but there's going to be some left. There's going to be how many left? Well, there's going to be, there's going to be a remainder, 1 left. Now let's break this problem down even more. I'm going to erase this. There's going to be 1 left. So let's break this problem down. So this means that 13, so if I have 13 sticks of gum, which I have for this problem, I have 3 students, so 13 sticks of gum divided by 3, that means that, and it says I need to have equal shares. Well, I know that my equal share is going to be 4, so at least every single student, all 3 students are going to get 4 sticks of gum equally. But I have a remainder. I have some sticks of gum left. So that's going to be a remainder. I have 1 left. I have 1 left because 3 times 4 equals 12. And then there's 1 left. So now we have 13, which is how many sticks we have, right? So 3 times 4 equals 12, plus 1 remainder equals 13, which that's how many sticks we have in our problem. So I know my answer is right, but I have that remainder. That remainder is tricky because what are we going to do with it, right? I have 1 more stick left. Now, when I talk about remainders, that's how many we have left. There's some things. There's a kind of like a few things I can do with my remainders, but it all depends on the problem. It all depends on what I'm talking about. And usually when I'm talking about food or candy, it's easy to split that remainder up into a fraction because it's easy to split food. It's easy to tear apart a piece of gum or a piece of candy or a pizza, right? But when I'm talking more about objects like some toys or like a piece of paper, it's not as easy to split that object up like it is for food. So with this remainder, my remainder means that I have one stick of gum left. One stick of gum left. Well, I'm going to take that one stick of gum. I'm going to take that one stick of gum right here. That one stick of gum. And I am going to split it up into 3 pieces. Here's my stick of gum. I'm going to split it into 3 pieces because I have 3 students I need to get to. So split up into 3 equal pieces. My 3 equal pieces. I split it up into 3 equal pieces. And now each piece is going to be given to 1 student, right? So altogether there are 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. So this piece is going to be considered 1/3. This piece is 1/3, and this piece is 1/3 to equal 3/3, which is a whole, which is 1 piece of gum. So each of my 3 students is going to get 1/3 of this last piece of gum, of the remaining piece of gum, plus plus the 4 whole pieces of gum that they get when we split it into equal shares. So each person, each boy or student, each student in my problem is going to get how many pieces of gum together? Well, they're going to get 4 and 1/3 pieces of gum. 4 and 1/3 pieces of gum. That's my answer. So how many sticks do they receive if they get equal shares? Well, if everyone gets the same amount of gum, they're going to get 4 whole pieces, and they're going to get 1/3 of a remaining piece of gum that we split. So that's how we find remainders. Here's my next division problem with a remainder. 3 students wish to divide 16 toy cars evenly. What is each child's share? So how much is each child going to get evenly is what this question is asking. So we have 3 students again, but we have 16 toy cars. Now, if you remember from what I said before, sometimes when we divide, we have remainders, and we're able to split them up evenly because in reality, in real life, it's easy to split that object up into pieces. But when we're talking about toys, like toy cars that these students have, it's hard to actually split that item up into actual pieces. We can't take a toy car and split it up into 3 pieces for these 3 students. So we're actually going to have to do something else. But let's solve the problem first, and then I'll explain that more. So the first thing we do always is we always write our number model, right? So number model is 16 toy cars. We're going to divide 16 toy cars, divide them up to 3 students, and then we're going to get our quotient. I don't know it yet, so I'm going to put an unknown there, which is A. So 16 divided by 3 equals A. Now, just like I said before, we know that multiplication and division really go hand in hand. So if you know your multiplication facts like this, then you know that I can turn this division problem into a multiplication fact to get this answer really, really quick. So for example, if I know my 3's facts, let's say 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. And that's about as close as I can get to 16. So I know that I know that 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Right? 15 divided by 3 equals 5. And that's really close. But like I said before, we're trying to aim to 16, but we only got to 15. But that's about as close as we can get. So we're going to have a remainder of 1. Right? We're going to have a remainder of 1. So I'm going to erase my unknown, and I know that it's going to be 5. My answer is going to be 5, but we're going to have a remainder. I put an R here, plus a little arrow is 1. So I'm going to have 5. So each student is going to get 5 whole toy cars to play with. But there's going to be 1 remaining toy car left that we don't know what to do with yet. So if I do it again in a problem, if I do, I know that, what do I know? I know that I have 3 times 5 equals 15, plus that one remaining toy car that we don't know what to do with. It's going to all equal 16, which is how many toy cars I have altogether. So this is how it's going to be laid out if I break it down even more. So 16 divided by 5 equals 5 whole toy cars with a remaining of 1 left over. Now, what are we going to do with that remainder? What are we going to do with that one toy car? Well, guess what? In a problem like this, when it's really hard to really, when it's not talking about food or not talking about like an actual object that you can split apart and divide up to different people, you're just going to ignore it. So this remainder, we're just going to ignore it because we can't do anything with that left car. We can't, with that one remaining left car. We can't split it up. We can't split up an actual toy car and give it to 3 students. We just have to leave that toy car aside and play with the 5. So each student's going to get 5 whole cars to be able to play with. And that remaining one, we're just going to ignore it. So I'm just going to put here, I'm just going to ignore it. Ignore it. And that toy car is just going to sit there and no one's going to play with it. But everyone's going to get 5 whole toy cars to play with. Here's our last problem to talk about remainders. It says Esteban has 29 photographs. He can fit 6 photos on each page of his photo album. How many does he need to hold all 29 photographs? So Esteban has 29 photographs, and in his photo album, only 6 photos can fit on one page, but he has 29. So how many pages is he going to need to fit all 29 photos in his photo album? Well, first things first, we have to write our number problem. So what's our number model? What's our problem? Well, we know that 29 photos needs to be divided into 6 to get how many pages. So 29 divided by 6 equals how many pages he's going to need to fit all 29 of his photographs, which I put an A here because that's our unknown. We don't know that yet. So we need to solve this, right? What is our answer? Well, our answer, remember that division and multiplication, they really go hand in hand. So in order to figure this out, what we have to think about our 6's right here, right? Our 6's. Well, we know that 6 times 3 equals 18. But we also know that 6 times 4 equals 24. And that's awfully close to our overall total photographs, which is 29. It's awfully close to our dividend here. So I wonder what 6 times 5 is. Can we go any higher? Can 6 be divided into 29 5 times? Well, that's 30, and that's above 29. So we can't use that. We have to go back. We can't use that because that's above our dividend. So we have to use 4. 6 can be divided into 29 at least 4 times, and it's going to equal 24. So it can be divided into at least 4 times, which equals 24. But 24 is not 29. So that means we're going to have a remainder, right? So that means 6 can be divided into 29 at least 4 times, but we're going to have a remainder of, so we find out a remainder because how many do we need to get from 24 to 29? Well, we count up. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we have a remainder of 5. So our answer to our number model, 29 divided by 6, is 4 with a remainder of 5. So how many pages can Esteban fill? Well, he can fill 4 whole pages. He can fill 4 whole pages. So what happens with the 5 photographs he has left over, which is our remainder? This is our remainder. This is the how many photographs he has left over. What happens with our remainder? Well, he has to put them on another page, right? Because right now he has 24 photographs can fit on 4 whole pages, but he has 5 pictures left. So what are we going to do with this 5 pictures that are left over? Well, he's going to have to use another page because he wants to include them in his photo album. So he has to put them on another page. And here, so with our very first problem with the sticks of gum, we put our remainder in our fraction. So we could do that here. We could put our remainder into a fraction, right? Because we have our numerator, which is 5, which represents the remainder, right? 5 represents the remainder, which we have here. And then we could put it into a fraction, which is over 6. 6 is how many photos we need all together on one page. We have 5 photos, but we need 6 photos, so 5, 6. So technically, he needs 4 and 5, 6 pages in order to fill up, in order to include all 29 photos in his photo album. But it's really, really hard in a photo album. You can't get 4 and 5, 6 pages. There's not a 4 and 5, 6 page. Either you have 4 pages or 5 pages. So in a situation like this, where we can't really divide 4 and 5, 6, because it's a photo album, we need to round up, which is our third way of dealing with remainders, is to round up. So we have 4 and 5, 6, but we can't really do that in a photo album. It's not enough. So we need to, Esteban needs 4, 5, 6 pages to include all of his 29 photos. 4 pages hold only 24 photos because 6 times 4 equals 24. It only holds 24 photos, which is not enough. So how many pages does Esteban need to hold all 29 photographs? Well, we round up in this instance, and he needs a total of 5 pages. So our answer to this problem technically is 4 and 5, 6, but because in a photo album you can't get 4 and 5, 6 pages, we need to round up in this instance, and so now our answer is 5. 29 divided by 6 equals 5. He needs 5 pages in order to fit all 29 photographs in his photo album. So we rounded our answer into the next whole number. So we rounded 4 and 5, 6 to the next whole number, which is 5. So Esteban needs 5 pages to fit all 29 photographs in his photo album.